EU downbeat after Johnson-Juncker Brexit talks. Britain has not proposed any workable alternatives to its Brexit withdrawal agreement, the EU said Monday after talks with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson ended without a breakthrough. Britain has not proposed any workable alternative to its Brexit withdrawal agreement, the EU said Monday after talks with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson ended without a breakthrough. It said the meeting between Johnson and EU Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker failed to yield any alternative to proposal on the Northern Ireland border that the British leader has rejected. It said the meeting between Johnson and EU Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker failed to yield any alternative to proposal on the Northern Ireland border that the British leader has rejected. Johnson has vowed to take Britain out of the bloc by the scheduled date of October the 31st, though Parliament has ordered him not to do so without striking a deal with Brussels first. Johnson has vowed to take Britain out of the bloc by the scheduled date of October 31st, though Parliament has ordered him not to do so without striking a deal with Brussels first. Business and opponents of Brexit. Business and opponents of Brexit say leaving without a deal will cause economic chaos as Britain ends its open trade ties to the European Union after 46 years, after a week in which he compared himself to comic book Super Smash Hulk. The British leader enjoyed a genteel working lunch of children and a potluck with Juncker in Luxembourg. After a week in which he compared himself to comic book Super Smash Hulk, the British leader enjoyed a gentle working lunch of chicken and a potluck with Juncker in Luxembourg. Downing Street billed the Luxembourg visit as part of effort to negotiate an orderly divorce from the Union before the October 17th EU summit. Downing Street billed the Luxembourg visit as part of effort to negotiate an orderly divorce from the Union before the October 17th EU summit. It insisted it had been a constructive meeting and said the two sides had agreed to step up the pace of work with daily meetings between negotiators. It insisted it had been a constructive meeting and said the two sides had agreed to step up the pace of talks with daily meetings between negotiators. It insisted it had been a constructive meeting and said the two sides had agreed to set up the pace of talk with daily meetings between negotiators. It insisted it had been a constructive meeting and said the two sides had agreed to step up the pace of talks with daily meetings between negotiators, but the Commission gave a more sober assessment, saying that once again the UK had failed to come up with a viable alternative to the so-called Irish backstop border arrangement. But the Commission gave a more sober assessment, saying that once again the UK had failed to come up with a viable alternative to the so-called Irish backstop border arrangement. President Juncker recalled that it is the UK's responsibility to come forward with legal operation solutions that are compatible with the withdrawal agreement. A statement from Juncker office said President Juncker recalled that it is UK's responsibility to come forward with legally operations solutions that are compatible with the withdrawal agreement. A statement from Juncker office said. President Juncker underlined the Commission's continued willingness and openness to examine whether such proposals meet the objective of the backstop. Such proposals have not yet been made. President Juncker underlined the Commission continued willingness and openness to examine whether such proposals meeting the objective of the backstop. Such proposals have not yet been made. EU downbeat after Johnson-Juncker Brexit talks downbeat 沮丧的、悲观的 EU downbeat after Johnson-Juncker Brexit Brexit talks downbeat 沮丧的、悲观的 dull or depressing, not having much hope for the future. They found him in a gloomy, downbeat mood. Gloomy, 沮丧的、阴郁的 depressed, 沮丧的 pessimistic, 悲观的、厌世的 pessimistic, depression, gloomy, Britain has not proposed any workable alternative to its Brexit withdrawal agreement, the EU said Monday after talk with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson ended without a breakthrough. Britain has not proposed any workable alternative to its Brexit withdrawal agreement, the EU said Monday after talks with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson ended without a breakthrough. Britain has not proposed any workable alternatives. Britain has not proposed any workable alternatives to its Brexit withdrawal agreement. The EU said Monday after talks with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson ended without a breakthrough. Alternative 替代物可供选择的事物替代物alternative a thing that you can choose to do or have out of two or more possibility. Alternative 替代物 have no alternative but to do something. Have no alternative but to do something. Is there a viable alternative to the present system? Is there a available alternative to the present system? Substitution, 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 substitution. Alternative, alternative energy, alternative energy, alternative energy, alternative energy. Substitution, substitution, substitution. Substitution, 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 alternative 可供选择的，可供替代的 alternative energy, alternative withdrawal 退出撤退 withdraw the withdrawal of the UN troops from the region is a right decision. The withdrawal of the UN troops from the region is a right decision. Retreat, retreat 撤退 withdraw 撤退离开withdraw, withdraw, withdraw, withdraw from 从什么什么中退出 withdraw, withdraw. Britain has not proposed any workable alternative to its Brexit withdrawal agreement, the EU said Monday after talks with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson ended without a breakthrough. It said the meeting between Johnson and EU Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker failed to yield any alternative to proposals on the Northern Ireland border that the British leader has rejected. Yield 提供 to produce or provide something, for example, a profit, result, or COP. High-rate deposit accounts yield good returns. High-rate deposit account yield good returns. Yield to do something. Yield to do something. 屈服于某人 surrender oneself to somebody or give way to somebody. Yield 产量利润 high yield 提供。To produce or provide something, for example, profit, result, or COP. High-rate deposit accounts yield good returns. Yield 屈服或让步 yield to somebody. surrender oneself to somebody, 或 give way to somebody. Surrender, give way, high yield. It said the meeting between Johnson and EU Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker failed to yield any alternative to proposal on the Northern Ireland border that the British leader has rejected. 句子的主语是 it， 谓语是 said， 后面是宾语从句，从句的主语是 the meeting。Between Johnson and Juncker 是用来修饰 meeting 的，谓语是 failed， 后面是不定式做补足语。而 that the British leader has rejected 修饰的是 the proposal on the Northern Ireland border. It said the meeting between Johnson and EU Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker failed to yield any alternative to proposal on the Northern Ireland border that the British leader has rejected. Johnson has vowed to take Britain out of the bloc by the scheduled date of October 31st, though Parliament has ordered him not to do so without striking a deal with Brussels first. Vow, to make a formal and serious promise to do something or a formal statement that is true. Vow to do something. Take a vow to do something. Vow to do something. Take a vow to do something. Supporters have vowed to continue the protest until a dam is released. Supporters have vowed to continue the protest until a dam is released. Promise, 承诺 promise, vow 发誓，相对于 pledge 而言多了一层宗教的意味。pledge 保证许诺，有庄严承诺的意思，誓不达到不罢休的感觉。pledge vow 发誓 promise 承诺保证 promise pledge bloc 集团 bloc a group of countries that work closely together because they have similar political interest in the former Soviet bloc, socialism bloc, en bloc, in bloc 全部一起统称。You cannot dismiss these stories en bloc. Strike a deal 达成协议，交易成交。Strike a deal, reach an agreement, a consensus. Strike a deal. Johnson has vowed to take Britain out of the bloc by the scheduled date of October 31st, though Parliament has ordered him not to do so without striking a deal with Brussels first. Business and opponents of Brexit say living without a deal will cause economic chaos as Britain ends its open trade ties to European Union after 46 years. Business and opponents to exist say living without a deal will cause economic chaos as business and opponents of Brexit say living without a deal will cause economic chaos as Britain ends its open trade ties to the European Union after 46 years. Business and opponents of Brexit say living without a deal will cause economic chaos as Britain ends its open trade ties to the European Union after 46 years. Chaos, 混乱、紊乱、无秩序的状态。A state of complete confusion and lack of order. In chaos. The kitchen was in chaos. Economic chaos. Business and opponents of Brexit say living without a deal will cause economic chaos as Britain ends its open trade ties to the European Union after 46 years. After a weekend in which he compared himself to comic book Super Smasher Hulk, the British leader enjoyed a genteel walking lunch of chicken and pollock with Juncker in Luxembourg. Smasher 重击手 Smasher 非常讨人喜欢的人或物 A person or things that is very attractive or outstanding. Smash 打碎击碎打垮 Smasher Someone smashed a bottle. Genteel 文雅的有教养的 He lived in the genteel poverty. Gentility 有教养文雅上流社会 Refined cultivate 有教养的 Refined cultivated genteel He lived in genteel poverty. Genteel He lived in genteel poverty. Gentility refined cultivate genteel He lived in genteel poverty. Genteel refined cultivated 但是跨不过去 cultivated Smasher after a weekend in which he compared himself to comic book Super Smasher Hulk. The British leader enjoyed a genteel working lunch of chicken and pollock with Juncker in Luxembourg. Downing Street billed the Luxembourg visit as part of effort to negotiate an orderly divorce from the Union before an October 17th EU summit. It insisted it had been a constructive meeting and said the two sides had agreed to step up the phase of talks with daily meetings between negotiators. Bill 将某样东西宣称为 Bill something as something. Downing Street billed the Luxembourg visit as part of effort to negotiate, and he was billed as new Tom Cruise. He was billed Bill 付款 Bill 钞票 a $10 bill. Downing Street billed the Luxembourg visit as part of effort to negotiate an orderly divorce from the Union before an October 17th EU summit. It insisted it had been a constructive meeting and said the two sides had agreed to step up the pace of talks with daily meetings between negotiators. But the Commission gave a more sober assessment. Seeing that once again the UK had failed to come up with a viable alternative to the so-called Irish backstop border arrangement, but the Commission gave a more sober assessment, seeing that once again the UK had failed to come up with a viable alternative to the so-called Irish backstop border arrangement. Sober 清醒的冷静的 adjective. Serious and think or make you think carefully about things. On sober reflection, sober 变得持重变得冷静 sober up sober，viable 切实可行的 ，feasible 可行的可行的可行性 ，plausible 看似可行的，实际暗含行不通 ，plausible。non-viable 存活的能生长发育的 viable seeds backstop 备用方案 an emergency precaution or last resort backup or last resort but the commission gave more sober assessment, seeing that once again the UK had failed to come up with a viable alternative to the so-called Irish backstop border arrangement. 句子的主干是 The Commission gave a more sober assessment. Seeing 引导了伴随状语，同时也引出了 that 引导的宾语从句。从句的主语是 UK， 谓语是 had failed， 后面是不定式做补足语。But the Commission gave a more sober assessment, seeing that once again the UK had failed to come up with a viable alternative to the so-called Irish backstop border arrangement. President Juncker recalled that it is the UK's responsibility to come forward with legally operation solutions that are compatible with the withdrawal agreement, a statement from Juncker's office said. President Juncker underlined the Commission's continued willingness and openness to examine whether such proposals meet the objective of the backstop. Such proposals have not yet been made. Compatible 兼容的 compatible 兼容的 compatible 兼容的 able to exist or be used to get together without causing problems. Compatible be compatible with are measure to protect the environment compatible with economic growth. Britain has not proposed any alternatives to its Brexit withdrawal agreement. It said the two sides had agreed to step up the pace of talks with daily meetings between negotiators. The UK had failed to come up with a viable alternative to the so-called Irish backstop border arrangement. Had not proposed, had failed to step up the pace of. Britain had not proposed.
Britain has not proposed any alternatives to its Brexit withdrawal agreement.
Britain has not proposed any alternatives to its Brexit withdrawal agreement. It said the two sides had agreed to step up the pace of talks with daily meetings between negotiators.
It is said the two sides had agreed to step up the pace of talks with daily meetings between negotiators.
It said the two sides had agreed to step up the pace of talks with daily meetings between negotiators. The UK had failed to come up with a viable alternative to the so-called Irish backstop border arrangement.
The UK had failed to come up with a viable alternative to the so-called Irish backstop border arrangement.
the UK had failed to come up with a viable alternative to the so-called Irish backstop border arrangement.